Yap? It's your girl Hannah, back with you again this week. I am so pumped to be back with you yet again on another episode of the Yap podcast. Now, last week, I hope you didn't miss it. And if you did, super easy fix. Just go back and listen to last week's episode of the Yap podcast. You will be listening to an awesome episode with our own Ernie Yarbrough and Chase Harrison, who kind of dive deep into being dads, homeschooling, back to school, using oils and all of that. And I'm going to preface this podcast, as I'm currently struggling to talk, with the fact that I have bitten the side of my tongue and it seriously is so swollen and hurts. Now, I was playing with my dog and I was going down to give her a hug when she was jumping up, I guess, to give me a kiss, and we collided and I bit the side of my tongue, and I have an unfortunate temporary lisp, it sounds like. So I am wanting to apologize as you listen to this. I'm like, what has happened to Hannah? So I just wanted to say that. But anyway, once again, welcome into a new episode of the Oil Out Podcast. This week, I'm going to break down a little bit more of back to school. The first week I did this topic, I kind of talk about oils and a little bit of supplements, but I want to talk specifically with immune health, because I think it is so important, whether you're a parent or a teacher or a student, that you focus on supporting your body regarding your immune system, right? So the first week kind of talked about some cognitive and mental support, maybe even some emotional support. This week, I really want to dive into immune support, because I feel like that is an area that we often neglect unintentionally, right? So we're so busy, we're trying to support our brain. We're trying to get our kids to focus and to be, courageous in school. And then how many times is it 10 or 11, maybe even midnight or 1 in the morning before you lay your head on your pillow, and then you have to wake up super early the next morning, and then you have a long day, and then you're not eating the way you should be eating, and you're not taking all your supplements, and before you know it, your immune system is crashing, right? I mean, has anyone else been there? I mean, I don't know about you, but it's very often that I find myself thinking, have I been sleeping well? Have I been eating well? Like, am I taking all my supplements? And I'm like, oh snap, it's been 2 nights I haven't taken my supplements, right? So it's very easy for us to unintentionally neglect that area. So I want to talk about some simple steps and some of my favorite Young Living products that I use on a regular basis to support my immune system. Now, some of these you may or may not already be doing, and if you are, great. If you're not, make sure you're doing these. And if you have any suggestions, if you're like, hey, actually, Hannah didn't mention this and I love doing this, feel free to message me. Feel free to comment on this podcast episode, message us on Facebook or on Instagram and say, hey, you should talk about this next time, right? These are just some of the things I personally do that I have found to be very helpful and help me be successful while taking care of my body and my immune system. So the first thing I want to talk about are Epsom salt soaks. Now, I used to think my mom was so weird when she would love to take long, hot baths, right? Like, my mom's like, I'm going to go take a bath. I'm like, why? Like, why are you taking a bath? That's so weird. Showers are so much more efficient. They get the job done faster. You waste, whatever, less water, whatever. So as I've gotten older, I have come to appreciate and understand why my mom did that. Not only was it calming and relaxing, but it was so good for her. It cleanses your lymph system. It detoxes your body. It relaxes you, which lowers your cortisol, which helps your immune system. There's so many benefits for taking a hot soak. I try to do one probably 3 to 4 times a week. And when I take a soak, I love to combine Epsom salt. Now, make sure you're getting Epsom salt with no added anything, right? You don't want to get Epsom salts that have added essential oils, because they're not pure essential oils, and honestly, it's just bad. So I try to get 100% pure, just plain old Epsom salt. And what I do is I add Young Living lavender and copaiba and lemon to that, and I take a soak 3 to 4 times a week. Now, sometimes if I'm overwhelmed or stressed, I'll add bergamot or peace and calming to that. But I always stick to at least the 2 of lavender and lemon essential oils to the Epsom salt. You stir it all together in a bowl first. Do not run the water with Epsom salt and then put the water on top. Oil and water don't mix. That's just not going to be a good situation for your skin. But I try to do that 3 or 4 times a week. Now, if you can get your child to do that once a week, maybe on Saturday night, maybe on Sunday night, that's going to be really beneficial for their lymph system and their immune system, right? That's just going to be really important for them to get that several times a week if they can. Now, something else I love to do, now that we're talking about, Epsom salt soaks, another thing I love to do is doing raindrops. Now, raindrops are so amazing for your immune system, for all the things. You can simply Google raindrop, Young Living raindrop benefits, and you'll get a long laundry list of reasons why you should be doing this. Now, whenever I feel like my immune system's tanking or that I'm not above the wellness line the way I should be, I give myself a raindrop. Now, if you have someone to give you a raindrop, this spine is ideal because you'll learn over time that all viruses and all that tend to store and, stay in the spine area. And that's one reason why Gary has come up with this, and it's amazing. But if you can't do it, if you're by yourself, you don't have someone to give you one, I always put all the oils on my feet. And I do that and then close my eyes and go to bed. And then I wake up and 9 times out of 10, 99%, I feel so much better the next morning. So if I feel as though my immune system's tanking, I tend to take a soak and then take a raindrop, and then I will pop an ImmuPro in my mouth and say nighty-night, because ImmuPro is seriously the best supplement for not only sleep, but for immune support, because it not only has melatonin, but it has a ton of immune supporting. That's where the Immu comes, right? It's like Immu Power, but in pill form. And I'm going to tell you this right now. ImmuPro, this is a personal testimony. I'm going to go and preface this. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you about the FDA, whatever. But ImmuPro is a supplement I use to regulate my melatonin to get me on a regular schedule, because I used to be nocturnal. I used to literally be up till 4 or 5 in the morning. I'd sleep till 10 or 11. I had a very horrible sleep cycle. It was horrible. My body hated me. I hated my body. So it was just not a good system. So I took melatonin on a cyclical schedule. I started with every night with a half a pill, and then I worked to a whole pill, and then I weaned myself off, and now my body loves sleep. So I'm just telling you, ImmuPro is an amazing supplement that I think everyone should have with them in their oil cabinet, okay? So those are the 3 main things I do if I'm not feeling well. Now, the Epsom salt and the raindrop and the ImmuPro can also be proactive, right? So I think a lot of times when we wait until we're sick to be reactive, but I think it's very good to be proactive, right? So keeping yourself above the wellness line, what can you do to do that? Several things: sleep, what you eat, and working out, but also supplementation. When you're supplementing your body with things you're not getting enough of, it's going to be an amazing thing. So make sure your child takes a Super C every single day, at least 1, maybe 2. I prefer the chewables. Some people prefer the tablets. I think the chewables are just easier to take, and I love them. I try to take 2 every single night before I go to bed. Super C. A lot of times people like Super B. I prefer my B to be in liquid form, but Super B, Young Living Super B is super amazing for that as well. So I every night take a Super D, Super Vitamin D, and a Super C chewable. I take 2 chewables of each every single night before I go to bed, and it has been an absolute game changer for me. Okay, so make sure you're getting vitamin D, vitamin C, and multigreens. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care if you're Peter Rabbit or you are someone who eats 55 handfuls of spinach a day. You're not getting enough. Okay, because we have to understand that the way our society is and the way farming is and the FDA and all that, even our organic stuff is questionable, okay? I'm just going to be very honest. So when you are taking in 55 handfuls of spinach, with all the things that have been done to that spinach and with the pollution in the air or the spraying or the pesticides, whatever, you're not getting all the nutrients. So being able to get a whole form of greens in your body daily is huge and crucial. And so taking multigreens is so good for your body for cellular health and immune health. So make sure you are taking multigreens every single day. Whether you're a child, you can actually open up the capsule and put it in a smoothie. They'll never know, especially if they're not good with taking pills. But you can also, if they're good taking pills, just make them take one. Take them at night, take them after breakfast. Just make sure they're getting in their multigreens. So far we've talked about ImmuPro, soaks, raindrops, Super D, Super C. And I also want to mention this, okay? Because I think it's so important that your child is taking Ningxia Red every single day. Whether that's in a packet form, whether you just put a packet in their lunch sack. Also, another little tidbit, you can actually freeze them. They freeze really well and they can defrost, so it's kind of like a little Ningxia pop, a little icy, so to speak. Your kids will love it. It's good for them, and you can just Google the benefits of Ningxia Red. But that is so important for your kids to be getting that in their systems every single day. Last but not least, roll your children with oils. Whether that's these on the spine or making your own roller, a concoction, so to speak, on their feet. Make sure you're oiling your children before they go to school. Every single day. Make sure you're oiling your children before they go to bed every single night. It is so important for your children to be protected from the ickies. Because let's be honest, you don't want them to get the ickies, but you also don't want them to bring the ickies home. Like, for real. Just help your child be successful in school, not only cognitively and emotionally like we've spoken before, but also physically. Like, help them physically stay well, because honestly, when your kids feel well, they perform well in school, and it's just an overall better experience for them. So it's super simple. Some of the things you can do, once again, making sure your children are getting supplements in their system, whether it's multigrain, Super B, Super D, so many things that Young Living has to offer. ImmuPro. Give it to your child once a week. Or if your children are struggling to sleep, or you can tell that they're not feeling 100% well, give them an ImmuPro. Get them a good night's sleep, and they will wake up feeling so much better. Raindrops and Epsom salt soaks. I cannot emphasize that enough, because they're super simple to do, and they're so powerful in helping our bodies recover and restore the way they should. So I hope you enjoyed this super, hopefully impactful and super short episode of the Oily Out Podcast. Once again, feel free to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Please do that, because on Fridays, including this Friday, we have an awesome giveaway. Every Friday at noon on the Oily Out Facebook page, I, Hannah Stevens, do a live giveaway. I will actually be in Nashville with my best friend Myra, celebrating my 30th birthday late for a girls trip. So I am super excited for that. So we will be live in Nashville when I do this giveaway on Friday. But don't forget to like us on Facebook and Instagram. And yeah, if you have any podcast ideas or want us to do a certain series, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook. Let us know. We would love to do that. And if you want to be a guest on the Oily Out Podcast, you're like, listen, I would love to share my Oily testimony. Please reach out to me, and I would love to have you on the Oily Out Podcast. So I guess that's all today, whenever you're listening to this. I like to think I include all of them: this morning, tonight, today. Whenever you're listening to this today on this Wednesday, I hope you have a fantastic week. I hope you know that we are so thankful for you, and I hope you know that you have the ability to change your life and your family's life, one drop, one supplement, one day at a time. So once again, Hannah Stevens here with the Oily Out Podcast. We'll be back next week. See y'all.